Top five, top five, top five.
Yeah, girl. You ready to do this? You ready to count this thing down? We're doing the top five, her. Yeah, let's set it off with 1, 2, 3, 4.
Hey, welcome back to Ranked Top 5 Lists of Stuff That Don't Matter. I'm your host, Tuong La, and that was supposed to be a crusty impersonation, but I half bailed on it at the end, so it wasn't very good at all. But hey,
I would argue you bailed
okay.
on it at the beginning.
Oh, right from the first syllable, right from the first breath, I bailed on it. But hey, I can't do it. I never could. So,
you tried, kind of.
I somewhat tried, yes. But today I am very excited because we are in the Pod Cavern, but we're really in Springfield today. We're in Springfield hanging out, and we have quite the juggernaut of an episode of Top 5 today. And before we get started on all of that, of course, I have to introduce my guests that I'm calling from all over the globe. First guest here is basically the sea captain of the group.
Ooh.
We got Matt Barrow.
Hello, thank you, Tuong, for inviting me.
Would you say you're the sea captain of the group? I thought you would be, but I'm not sure. Like, you kind of look like that guy.
Wow, I'm not.
I could see you with a pipe.
I definitely do have a pipe.
Okay, well, there you go.
Matt, who did you give yourself, Matt?
This also, I wouldn't really. I think I might be the comic book guy, except for like a friendlier version of him.
Worst answer.
No kidding. Well, Matt, thank you for being on the cast. And can you introduce the next guest, please?
Yes, this guest knows how to use the most cromulent words. Taylor.
Thank you. That was a scrumtrulescent introduction, Matthew. I appreciate it.
Matt, you didn't say which character he was.
I don't know why, but the first character that came to mind was Lenny.
Dude, I was thinking the same thing. That's not even true.
You two are on the same wavelength today. I can't wait to crush that alliance later.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm
gonna crush this alliance, bro.
I guess that makes you Carl.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm into this.
Not Lenny.
Me too.
Taylor, thank you for calling in all the way from BC to be with us today.
Springfield West, which as locals know is 3 times the size of Texas.
I was going to say Roy, personally. And I think that would have been a great character for you. But Taylor, we could not start this episode without this last guest.
Right. Sitting to my right, we'll say, is Sam Leggatt. Ooh, geez. I don't know. Maybe you could be, what was her name? Allison? That girl that came and then shook Lisa? The really sweet...
Oh, Lisa's rival?
Yeah.
Whoa, what are those things? I'm not very good at anagrams. I feel like I'm not nearly smart enough to be Allison.
Well, you know what, Sam? Here's a ball. You can play with the ball.
Oh, man. And that's what you're in for today, folks. Just a bunch of Simpsons nerds quoting a bunch of Simpsons, and I'm sure you're going to love that. Now, I couldn't... it was really hard for me to come up with the guest list today. We've been talking about this episode forever, but as I've told all 3 of these people, I feel like all 3 of these people would kill me the most if they weren't on this episode. So that's why you're here, is because you've threatened my life.
Yep.
Good. It helps to know where you sleep.
But I am really excited to talk some Simpsons with you guys. Now, before we come up with the ground rules, let's just say that I think we're all huge Simpsons fans, whatever that means these days. I mean, I think we grew up with Simpsons way back in the day, and I think like we're really always talking about, maybe this is going to the ground rules, like the first 10 to 12 seasons
too high
of The Simpsons.
Too high.
And like even then, that's what you're saying. You're saying it's too high, but when you're talking about The Simpsons nowadays, they're 30 seasons in.
31.
There are more bad.
I agree
bad
in terms
seasons.
of quality with you guys, but I think Tuong is right in terms of 1 to 12 is generally seen as like the beginning, kind of not the golden era, but that was the kind of start.
Now I will
Start of
say,
like the down, yeah.
These days, I've still been watching them. They kind of had an uptick again in like the 26th season. Like not nearly as good as they used to be, but they're not crap.
Do you know what's interesting?
And they have good jokes sometimes.
We were having a conversation about this the other day, and what I think is a reason behind that, I've heard that, I haven't watched the new stuff, but I've heard that as well, but it's the people who are now writing the show are the people that grew up watching the show.
Yeah.
So they can instill those things about it that they liked about it growing up into the new season.
Well, yeah, they learned comedy, like the comedy language through The Simpsons.
And I think like The Simpsons, like when you're talking about those first 12 or, whatever, the first 9, whatever you want to say, those early seasons of The Simpsons, like it is still, to me, one of the greatest shows of all time, even if it does have those, like most of the series, I guess, is not good. But it stuck with me. And like, watching the older stuff to this day is still so funny, so sharp, and just full of heart, which is what my favorite parts of The Simpsons.
The rewatchability is high.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Very high.
Yeah, and I think we're at a point, like us, especially us four, is kind of like you can throw an episode in the back. I can radio show The Simpsons at this point, like those early seasons. Like you just throw the audio in the background. I can be doing whatever, and I will still laugh because I can imagine the visual gags that are going on in the back. I was watching for this podcast. I was just destroying episodes of The Simpsons in the last week and a half, and it was amazing excuse to watch just a ton of Simpsons. So really enjoyed that. Now let's get into some ground rules. What are we thinking here?
I don't think there should be really any. I mean, if you want to be a jerk ass and nominate something from season 22, you can go ahead and bagel belt it, Tuong.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
I'm a bagel belt defender, I will say.
Yeah, they're great.
Yes, thank you, Taylor.
They're great. Bagel belts are great.
Take that, Sam.
Whatever, man.
Here's one that might come up, and I think we should just kind of nip this in the butt now. Maybe it won't be even mentioned, but there is a 2-part episode in The Simpsons.
What?
If anyone nominates that, do we
Save
count?
it for the cast.
Well, this is it though, right? Like this is like we should mention this. Like there is a 2-parter. Does that count as one nomination?
I think
you have to pick. Oh, really? Okay.
Okay.
I this came up when I was watching the other night too, and Brad and I talked about it, and I was like, I feel like I would specify one or the other. I have a clear favorite of the two, but I'd be happy if you want to nominate it as one as well.
Taylor?
I do see it. I do see viewing it as one, but at the same time, it was one season finale and one season premiere, and that's the only reason that I'm a little kind of iffy on it.
So here's my thinking on it. That episode, the first of the 2-parter that we're just making very vague right now, it was written and it was kind of like the practice show running for the showrunners of the seasons after that. So like those guys,
okay,
and they were they wrote that. The first episode and the second episode. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So they wrote both.
Yeah. And I think the director was the same as well.
I mean, I guess. But then, you could say that about a lot of episodes. So, I mean, in my mind, there's still 2 separate episodes.
Why don't we count it as one? But I think Sam and I are lockstep in this. I will use that 2-parter as a knock against it, personally. If it comes down to that.
I will. Yeah, I will as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't even know if it'll be mentioned, to be honest. I just want to tackle this now because I think that's really the only ground rules that I have today is those 2 episodes kind of stand out to me. Because otherwise, we're just ranking Simpsons episodes. But I guess here's a ground rule is what is the criteria? I mean, I guess it's kind of like whatever we feel it to be, but what are we basing this on? Are we basing it purely on how memorable it is or, quotability or the heart of The Simpsons, or is it just a pure comedy episode? I guess at the end of the day, we're going to have a variety of stuff, but
pretty much in my mind, if it was on The Simpsons, it counts as a possible nomination.
You can make your case as you want for it.
It's all subjective, but I think The Simpsons is so good because it's so varied and has all of those things in it that hopefully in a perfect world, the list we come up with will reflect that.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it will, because we all come to it for different. Sometimes you want that heart, like you mentioned, Tuong. Sometimes you want the jokes per minute. And we'll determine what the best of that is.
All right, well, let's get into it. We're gonna grab our duffs and rank some Simpsons. Just like every episode of Ranked, we're gonna go around 3 times, nominating 3 nominations each, making a master list of 12, and whittling that down to a top 5 list. And here we go. My very first nomination. I'm just gonna come out the gate with this because, of course, this episode is going to be mentioned. Of course, it's going to be nominated. One of my favorite episodes of all time, for sure. And it's a pure comedy episode. And probably the most popular character, or side character that ever popped up in The Simpsons. I'm talking about You Only Move Twice. Season 8, episode 2. And specifically, Hank Scorpio wins this nomination for me.
Watched it last night.
It is never bad, this episode. It is such a good episode. It's, for those of you who don't know, I guess we should kind of give a quick plot summary for each nomination that we give, in case people who watch The Simpsons don't exactly know it by name. But this is the one where the Simpsons family moved to Cypress Creek. Homer is offered a job on the streets by a random stranger. Homer takes the job, goes to the most wonderful place ever, quote unquote, at least for Homer, and everyone else in the Simpsons family is having a bad time. But Homer, for the first time in his life, is having a great time and is actually really good at his job. But we also get introduced to the best charismatic supervillain of all time, Hank Scorpio. Does anybody have any favorite moments in this episode?
Oh man, the whole thing, like you said, it's such a heavy hitter. I watched it last night because I used to make fun of Brad because it's his favorite, and I was like, it seems like an obvious choice. And then I watched it, I was like, oh no, this is full of gold, from beginning to end.
Yeah,
I think it's also the best balance of Homer's stupidity. I feel like this is as stupid as he can be with still being endearing. It's subtle and over the top at the same time. It's just a really good balance.
I love that. They've said before that they just let Albert Brooks kind of improvise his lines, and Hank Scorpio, he did this, and it's just him and Dan Castellaneta improvising off each other. And at one point, when he's you ever see a man say goodbye to his own shoes? And Homer laughs and says yes once.
Yeah, the entire hammock scene is just improvised by Albert Brooks. They really just let him run wild with it.
Oh, is that true? I didn't know that. That is such a fun scene. Yeah, I just love the quotability of this episode of down to I didn't even give you my coat, and it's just on backwards. That's such a stupid gag. Or when Homer asks for sugar and he just gives it to him from his pockets. He's like, sorry, it's not in packages. That's so funny to me.
I tackled a loafer at work today.
Yeah.
I also love when they were talking about moving, and Lisa says, I never saw, nobody's pushing anybody. I've never seen that. And then just Bart rushes her and pushes her out of the way and says, me neither.
There's also when they watch the Cypress Creek video, it's just showing how they kind of gentrified the city, and it shows I think it's just a dirty bench or something, and it turns into a nice bench, and then there's homeless people, and they turn into a news box and a parking.
The jokes per minute in this episode is fantastic, and that's why it's one of my favorite. Let's move on. Matt, what do you got?
I don't know if you guys really deserve this. It's more of a Shelbyville nomination, but I'm going to go with Season 4, Episode 12, Marge versus the Monorail.
Of course. I knew this episode would pop up.
Yeah,
Conan.
I love Conan, and he's gone on to do amazing work. But I think he'll say this is his best work ever. The songs that they the Monorail song is great, and
The Music Man.
It's to the point when we were starting out, when I was starting out in improv, we had to do this thing where we just had to say one lines that meant nothing, and for some reason it always came into my head just to go the ring came off my pudding can.
Here's my penknife.
My man. You just gotta sing along.
Exactly. Monorail.
I also love is that not the one where Homer's talking to Bart and he's like, do you want to change your name to Homer Jr.? The kids can call you Hoju.
Because Bart was feeling not quite pride, but also not. But he also wasn't ashamed of him.
The opposite of pride.
Yeah. Less shame. Yeah. And the Leonard Nimoy stuff in this is really funny too.
Well, my work here is done.
I just want
to be George Takei. Conan wrote it for George Takei, but George Takei was on the board of public transportation in San Francisco, and he said, "I would never make fun of public transportation." So we went with Leonard Nimoy.
Yeah, my work here is done.
Oh,
you didn't do anything.
Didn't I?
Yeah. this episode's fantastic for sure. And I love like the small things of like mono means one and rail means rail.
My favorite
little
Nimoy
jokes.
line is whenever the solar eclipse happens, and he goes, solar eclipse. The cosmic ballet goes on. And then his neighbor's like, does anyone else want to switch seats?
Yeah, so funny. So good. Well, great nomination, Matt. Let's move on to Taylor. Taylor, what do you got?
All right, I'm going to go a little bit earlier in the show's history. Season 3, episode 17. Guys, I'm going with Homer at the Bat.
I knew it.
Hands down, my favorite Simpsons episode, and it is just pure rewatchability in terms of jokes per minute. This episode is just like a Tommy gun of jokes. It doesn't stop. Sorry. So just for listeners at home, this is the one where Mr. Burns places a wager with a rival businessman that his team can win the company softball game. So then he ends up going out and hires basically all the best players from that season of the MLB, and they all play on the teams. The softball team, the power plant softball team. And I mean you probably introduced like 9 different guest stars, and every one of them has a hilarious moment and a memorable scene, which like the fact that they were able to, it's written by John Swartzwelder, who is the greatest Simpsons writer of all time. And yeah, the fact that he is able, do you know what I mean? Like if you mention like Sammy Sosa or like Daryl Strawberry or Steve Sachs, like all those people, I'm saying they're like Saxy Boy, like they've all got those moments, which is amazing because then those are all just jokes on top of the story. The story itself is hilarious. Like whenever people are picturing what Homer's secret weapon is, and
the Wonder Bat.
Yeah, when he tells the story about how the Wonder Bat made, it was during a thunderstorm, so he grabbed a large piece of sheet metal and hid under the largest tree he could find. Like,
I didn't realize that episode was so early. You like prefaced this by saying you're going to season 3, and I'm like, man, that's such a good episode. That's so early on. Not to say that like season 3 isn't good or anything, but I don't know. If I would have guessed, I would have put it in like season 4 or 5.
Season
but
3
like,
was
it's crazy good.
So I'm the same way. Season 3 and 4 were like the golden age. Apparently,
season 3 was like when they really like they were just finding their voice fully. Season 2 had like really good episodes as well, but it was like up until then they really hadn't found their voice, and so season 3 is in that sweet spot of like, oh, we know what we're doing now.
Yes,
Well,
it's true, and
they
I'm
had
like looking
different
at it
showrunners.
now. It's good, yeah.
So, like, in the first seasons 1 and 2, the showrunners were James L. Brooks, Matt Groening, and Sam Simon. And that's, it defined The Simpsons. It gave us that kind of the classical movies, the kind of high culture. It was quite highbrow for a pretty lowbrow show. They mixed that in. And then after season 2, they switched
Al Jean
to...
and Mike Reese.
Was it Al Jean? And like, yeah, and so they came in, and then there was a lot more. There was emphasis still on like the heartfelt stories and stuff, but they really ramped up the jokes in these seasons. And then as like it's kind of 2-year stints for showrunners in the first 12 years, and they do change. You can kind of see that, but seasons 3 and 4 are just absolutely like world class. Yeah.
Does anyone have any favorite moments in this episode? I know, like we said, like the whole thing is really funny, and it is. It's so good. Like I love all the Daryl Strawberry stuff. It's just makes me laugh all the time. But is there any specific moments that are like this is the standout part of this already great thing?
I really love shave those sideburns. I feel like when I'm at work, I feel like I've definitely been doing work for my boss sometimes where he's like gives a revision for something and I go to do it and he like will keep saying it. I'm like, oh my God, like it's just like him with the sideburns. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. So
I don't know what you think sideburns are.
yeah.
I love when Marge is filming that game.
So great.
And she's like, and there's Homer, and he's just scratching his genitals, and like she like focuses down, and then she's like, "Kids, tell me when your dad stops scratching himself." Kids, we will, Mom.
Yeah.
I love Wiggum and Steve Sachs whenever he gets arrested. New York City. I heard they killed a guy in New York. Not solved it either. But you wouldn't know anything about that, would you, Saxy boy?
Saxy boy.
What about you, Tom?
Yeah, and I think, like, I mean, the sideburns thing is really funny, but I think just the gag of just running back into the burning house and pulling stuff
on
out.
the left.
Yeah, I think that's such a stupid but like brilliant gag. I really enjoy this
Ken Griffey
episode.
Jr.'s
And I love the
case
song.
of gigantism.
Oh, you're right though. Like every like random character in this episode, there's so many new ones for this episode, but they're all so funny. They all get their own like moment to shine.
I read Mike Leese's
all
book,
right. Oh,
and he
go ahead.
talks about the scene where Ken Griffey Jr. drinks the drink that gives him gigantism, and he says, "Wow, Skip, it's like a party in my mouth, and everybody's invited." And apparently, it took them forever to get him to read that line right.
He just didn't get it. He said he was just like, yeah, he did not understand the line. And they're like, just
my
read it,
God.
man.
That's hilarious. Sam, what do you have? First
All right.
nomination.
First nomination. Oh, it's so hard, Tongue. This is killing me. But I'm gonna go with a season 5 episode. Springfield, spelt with a money sign, or How I Learned to Love Legalized Gambling.
Wow.
Yes.
Near and dear. I almost forgot about this one, to be honest. I was like reading up, like quickly looking over episodes before we started, and I was like, how the fuck could I forget about this one? Because like I love it so much. Rewatchability is great. We've got Florida. We've got Lisa in her outfit. I've been that outfit for Halloween before. And I feel
Great
like you
costume.
get over dramatic Homer, which I always love. You know, anytime Homer goes off the rails being super dramatic, which he's like not always necessarily good at, I love. We've got him talking about Gamblor and like talking about stars. We've got him making the fort and like protecting the kids from the boogeyman.
Men in the house.
Yeah, and just like the sincerity of him being like concerned for Marge, but also like being dumb. And then we've got Mr. Burns with his germ stuff and the hop in. You know, it's just so good. Yeah, so I feel like it's like I always forget about it, and but I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, it is good. It's great. It's a great episode. The gambler thing I just quoted the other day. I love that line. It's great.
Yeah, it's so charming, and he like sheds a tear, like talking about Marge forgetting and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh, and that's the one where Bart opens his treehouse too. Becomes like a swinging club.
Yeah.
I
He
once
opens up his
actually
own casino,
was
yeah.
Ralph Wiggum as Idaho for Halloween.
Amazing.
Ooh.
I
That's
once
an
went
amazing.
as Robert Goulet.
Barrow said that?
Your manager told you to shut up.
Wow, what a monster round 1. Let's go to round 2 here. Round 2. Okay, so man, I'm having a hard time because like I think there's a lot of like just pure funny episodes, but I also really appreciate the episodes that have heart too. But maybe I'll save that for round 3.
You know, you're
because-
right. Every pick is like joke heavy.
But
So
like
far.
I think the best of the Simpsons is when it can like balance both and give us the heart, because I think like the new Simpsons, well, what
It's
do I know?
mostly
I haven't
just
really
joke
watched
heavy.
too much of the new Simpsons. Matt, maybe you can talk about this a little bit. It's just joke heavy. Is it like really reference based and stuff? Like I think I saw Homer doing the floss the other like on some GIF, and I hated it.
No.
What irks
Yeah.
me about the new episodes that I have seen is it just seems like they try to put a joke in absolutely everywhere, which sounds weird that I'm complaining about that, but like I don't know. There's something about like it's more desperate to be
I
funny,
feel
whereas
like
the old one
the
just
big
was, but
transition
that's nostalgia.
was when Family Guy came about, and so they thought they needed to be more like Family Guy because it was kind of becoming the bigger show, and so like just like
Do you
shotgun
mean
humor,
edgy
like
or like cutaway humor?
joke.
You can't just feed us the jokes like that. You gotta earn it. You don't win friends with salad, folks. But that's not my nomination. My nomination is going to be this episode I really love because it really feels like the best of Springfield. It feels like you get all of the kids, you get all of the adults, and you get all of Springfield coming together to fight a common enemy.
Oh.
And I'm talking about Lemon of Troy.
Yes!
That was my second pick.
It's it's a season 6, episode 24, and for those of you who don't know, it's the episode where Shelbyville steals the lemon tree, and in the background, Grandpa Simpson is also telling the story about the lemon tree and how it came to be as well. So there's a lot of things going on, but I love this episode because you see the kids at their best, and they all kind of team up together. and they go off and do their like kid adventure, and then afterwards they get the adults involved, and then that's like even more funny in some senses too. In some cases, it's quotable the entire way. And does anyone have a favorite moment in that episode, by the way?
So I love the teaming of Martin and Nelson. And like just after Nelson like throws that other bully out of the way,
Discovery Channel.
Martin dances around him, and I just realized I remember that song. This is the tale of Nelson and the boy he loved so dear. They became the best of friends for years and years and years.
Matt, may I? Hark to the tale of Nelson and the friend he loves so dear.
I'm an asshole.
Simpsons badge. I think my favorite line in that episode is like the lemon-shaped rock, and I'm gonna butcher that's why I didn't want to say it, but it's just like, oh, there's a lemon behind that rock, and the timing of that is so funny.
So I follow some like Bort posting or Simpsons shit posting like account on Facebook or something, and there was a picture that I was staring at forever, and I was like, I don't get this joke. And it was a picture of like Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and like behind him there was like a lemon. When I like say this verbally, it sounds like obvious, but like I was staring at it forever, and I showed it to Brad, and I was like, what the fuck is with this picture? And he's like, there's a lemon behind that rock. That's so good.
Great line. Great.
I feel like Milhouse has some good bits in this. Obviously, Bart does, but my most memorable are multiple Homer lines. Like whenever the kids are all spying in the tall grass, they're looking down the cliff, and they're like, "Okay, so like we can't get found out." And then Homer's like, "Found them!" right behind them. And then whenever he's like, "But they stole the lemon tree." He's like, I don't care. Nothing's going to cut me off in the middle of this speech. I don't care. Lemon tree! And then whenever he's talking of, like, the Shelbyville mirrors, like the dad, it's
oh, my God, the dad.
I'm in here, take it. You must be stupider than you look. Stupid.
Shake harder, boy! Or, like, when he, like, bites into the lemon and his face goes, like, really, like, squinty and stuff. I think that's just so good.
The other old man at the end was like, so they got rid of it. Because it was evil.
Ooh, I cannot correct you, Taylor. It was haunted.
It was haunted. God damn.
Wow.
Yeah.
1 for 1. Both of you.
I also love when they think they failed, when Homer's like, I'm going to go into I'm going to hit the showers. And then, like, Bart makes Flanders, like, go into a hospital zone really quickly. And so Homer just, like, you can hear him, like, flipping in the shower.
Oh, yeah. And he's, like, basting, like, a turkey or something.
That's when they're trying to turn the thing on. It's like, the juice is just not happening for no reason.
Oh, my God. That's the moment.
We rewatched this episode a month ago. He's making 3 turkeys.
That's amazing.
I think I want to one. I don't know why.
A great thing that Homer does in that episode is he throws when the dog is chasing Bart. And he's like, I'll get him. And he throws a piece of meat, and the dog just eats it instantly. He's like, run faster, boy.
He's got a taste for meat.
I also love the conversation between Marge and Homer, because this all starts because of a speech Marge gave Bart.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like, I feel like this is all because of this speech I told to Bart. And he's like, well, if it was anything, it was because of that time you let him wear swimming trunks to bed. Well, let's not forget about that speech.
It's part of us all. Yeah, exactly. All right. Well, yeah, I think this episode is...
can I just say one fan conspiracy theory I have about this because of this episode?
Sure.
Is that I've heard people say that they think the Van Houtens are related before because they're the only people that look identical and their kid looks like them as well, which is weird. But then in this episode, he's like, I hate those Shelbyville punks or whatever. And she's like, honey, my family's from Shelbyville. He's like, and it tears me up inside. But what do we know about Shelbyville? Is they marry their attractive cousins.
Oh my God, you're right.
So, Taylor, later on in the series, it is revealed that Kirk and Luann are like second cousins.
Oh, I don't like that.
Well,
That's
I'm
I
sorry.
don't like
You
it.
can erase everything I just said.
I don't count that as canon.
No.
Let's move on. Matt, what do you have?
So all my original noms have been just taken.
Oh, great.
So I'm going to go with Season 7, Episode 21, 22 short films about Springfield.
Okay. Great. That's a great nomination.
Absolutely.
You want to talk? Tell the people what it is.
It's essentially Bart and Milhouse hawking loogies on cars, and Bart's like, you ever wonder about the lives of the people that we spit on? And like Milhouse is like, I try not to. It makes things easier. And so then they just present 22 like small stories about everybody, like as many people in Springfield as they can. And this is also where the steamed hams meme came from.
Also, the original
I
joke.
think at 22 in 30 minutes. That's like impressive.
Yes, the original. Has anybody actually counted it to make sure it is 22?
Does the
No.
Professor Frink one count as the end, like a 22? Do you know?
I feel like that would
very-
count.
I mean,
They ran
maybe,
out of time.
Probably.
Huh. Does anyone have a favorite short in that whole thing?
I mean,
Fuck. There's literally so many. I love Lisa's scene with the gum.
Yes, that's a good one.
That is good.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel like steamed hams is pretty hard to beat, but I also like the guy in the car.
That's what I was picturing.
Tom in
Oh, yeah.
the tiny car.
Do you find something comical about the appearance of me in my automobile?
Yes.
I'll have you know that was the only automobile I could afford.
I thought that was Mike Judge for years. Like Hank Hill, I thought that was him.
Oh, did you look it up? It's not him.
It's
then, I
not.
guess.
It's just one of the voice actors.
I would say steamed hams as well, but that was I liked that one before it got like super popular in the last couple years or whatever it was. I liked it before it was cool, but anyways, I do like that one still. I think it's just
Well, there's
It's
a reason
very
it's
comical.
popular, you know. It's,
yeah.
Seymour, the house is on fire.
No, mother, that's just the Northern Lights.
Great episode. Taylor, what do you got?
Ooh, actually, I kind of foreshadowed. This one focuses on one of my favorite secondary character in the whole series, Milhouse Van Houten. In season 8, episode 6 is A Milhouse Divided.
Wow. Can I borrow a feeling? Tell us more about it, Taylor.
So in this episode, Homer and Marge have they want to have a dinner party, so they have some friends over. They're trying to have a nice night, and then Kirk and Luann Van Houten come a little bit late because Luann had to take time putting on her eyebrows. And then they show up, and they're just cats and dogs the whole night. They're fighting, and it all culminates when they play a game of Pictionary. And Luann draws Dignity, but Kirk tries to draw Dignity, excuse me. And then he goes, well, you try to draw it. And then you don't see what she draws, but everyone in the room is just like, oh, yeah, that's Dignity. And then it's like, are you happy? And then, no, I haven't been happy since we got married. And they get a divorce. And
Wow.
yeah, it is just, I think, like, it is one that deals a little bit with heart because, like, it's a pretty touchy subject, but in the way that Milhouse kind of reacts, he's getting spoiled by both parents, and, you know, it's just, the whole thing, the situation feels kind of weird at the same time, but, like, it's hilarious, it's lighthearted, it's so funny, it's one of my favorite, and it's pretty, like, it's, you know, that's one of the few episodes that, like Maude dying, that changes things going forward. Because Kirk and Luann aren't together anymore.
True.
Oh, wow. I didn't even realize it was that episode where Maude died.
No, that's not the same episode.
It's not? It's not? Okay. I was like, that doesn't make sense.
No.
That's the same
Okay,
episode.
so this-
Maude died, and Lisa becomes a vegetarian in.
Yeah.
And
Exactly. I think Moochie was in there somewhere.
I feel
okay,
like,
so like, I'm trying to remember what else happens in that because I didn't rewatch this one for my
is
rewatch.
that not the one with the race car bed,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I got a race car bed in Animal Crossing, and I was like, I need to be Kirk Van Houten now. I need to make him.
I sleep in a race car bed.
What do you see?
I sleep in a bed with my wife.
This I just remembered. It's got one of my favorite. He's like, don't worry about me, Homer, because I'm a big wheel at the cracker factory. And then it's Kirk and his boss, and he's like, I'm sorry, Kirk, but we're going to have to let you go. What? Why? Well, crackers are a family food. I don't know if single people eat crackers, quite frankly. I don't want to know. So that's it. After 20 years, goodbye and good luck. I don't recall saying good luck.
Yeah, that's so funny.
Fucking gold.
One of my favorite bits is when Luann's like, Marge, everything you knew about Luann Van Houten is dead. And she's like, well, actually, I didn't really know you that well to begin with.
God, yeah. That's also she's dating the American Gladiator Pyro or Gyro, one of them.
Right.
And then Homer breaks the chair over Homer's back in the tub.
And so, yeah, Homer proposes, or what is it?
He divorces Marge.
He divorces Marge and then like reignites his vows, or like he says them again or something to like he
No, it's for
basically
real.
remarries her.
Yeah. But that's also,
Yeah,
like you said, kind of borrow a feeling. That culmination of that episode, whenever Kirk has been, he's rock bottom, he's dating, oh God, what's her name? The girl with the Starla, my special lady, who needs to go to the car to change her wigs. Like,
Oh, yeah.
And then he sings the song to her at the end, and then she just absolutely refutes him. It is so funny. Ew, no. I'll be back. Probably. And then the episode's done. Like,
That's a good episode. Oh man, we got some heavy hitters here. Sam, what do you got?
All right, it's getting harder and harder down the list. I have a ton of funny episodes still here, but I feel like I am going to switch it up and go with a more feely one. Just because I love it, and it's a Lisa-centric episode, and I love Lisa. But that's not the episode I'm nominating.
Oh, okay, I was like, is it that episode?
No, it is not. But Lisa is like my girl. I'm going with Lisa's Substitute. Season 2. Yeah. So, I mean, for listeners at home, Lisa Substitute. It's the guest starring of what's his name? Hoffman there. Dustin Hoffman. It's kind of a whole riff on the whole Mrs. Robertson. What's that movie? He was in The Graduate. Or there's parts in it, anyway. But it's a really Lisa and Homer episode. And I feel like Lisa and Homer have a lot of episodes together through the series. And I always kind of really like them. And this was like one of the first of them, just like Lisa struggling with being like an intellect in her family of buffoons, but still having to love them. And I think that's such a like deep kind of just nice storyline to like deal with in general. And her coming to terms with that and stuff is nice. I mean, there is still some funny moments in it, but definitely more of a heart heavy episode. And then obviously we've got the classic note, you are Lisa Simpson. Is anything more empowering
so good.
than that
So
note?
good.
It's so fucking good. It's so full of heart. And I just love it. It's one of the Simpsons episodes that makes me cry. So
there are stories about the writer's room about whenever, I think it was Sam Simon wrote the note and then he passed it around and then people like opened the note and read it. And like half of the guys didn't get it, and they're like, "Trust me." And it initially also had an exclamation mark, but he took off the exclamation mark.
Good.
Made it more statement. I know, right? Because it did. They said it didn't land with the exclamation mark, and then he took it off, and people are like, "Whoa, that's deep."
Wow.
It is. And I just love the familiar, like the bond that they have for each other and the respect despite their differences and stuff. So this was a really good episode of showing like how they can be driven apart versus like how they get back together and stuff. And just like Lisa, needing that kind of guidance and like support in her life from someone who understands her. So I think it's really sad when he goes away because I don't know. It's just
Do we ever see Mr. Bergstrom again?
I don't think so.
I think there's a visual gag. Oh yeah, I don't even remember. Lisa's upset in some future season, and then Marge is like, "Honey, there's someone that wants to see you," and she's like, "I don't want to see anyone." And then Marge is like, "Sorry, Mr. Bergstrom, she's not up for it right now."
Oh my
and he doesn't
God.
speak.
What?
I gotta look that up. Hard. Do your thing.
That does sound kind of familiar, and that breaks my heart a little bit.
Did you have a crush on Mr. Bergstrom? Anyone?
Kinda. Yeah. You know what? I'd say yes.
He was like a soft-spoken king.
He was. Like,
Wow.
Mr. Bergstrom fucks, right?
I mean,
Yeah, he has to.
Mrs. Krabappel hit on him.
Yeah, but he was like, no, Mrs. Krabappel.
Yeah.
He said no.
Yeah, Mr. Bergstrom doesn't deal with any of that. He's too wholesome of a man.
The funny thing about that is Dustin Hoffman's also uncredited doing that episode.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
but
really?
we knew it was him.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, because back then it was almost seen like doing TV and especially a cartoon was like frowned upon. It was low class.
Yeah. Nobody wanted to be associated with that.
Yeah, even Albert Brooks when he first started doing episodes was just named A. Brooks.
That could be any Brooks.
Shall we go to round 3, folks?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's go to round 3. This is crazy because we have like these juggernaut episodes that we just nominated for this episode, and I feel like there's just so many that have been not said, and I'm having a hard time, even though like we've said a bunch of good ones, but like I I don't know where to go from here. I feel like I nominated 2 really funny episodes, so I feel weird not nominating one that has a little bit of that Simpsons heart that I was talking about earlier. And I think I'm going to go with this one. I'm going to go with And Maggie Makes 3 from season 6, episode 13.
Ooh.
And this episode's very good. Like it is, like I think it's very funny, but it also has one of the greatest Simpsons endings for me that just really, really hits it for me. And for those of you who don't know, it's all about how Lisa notices that there's no baby pictures of Maggie around. And then Homer kind of explains the whole story of Maggie's birth, as well as like working at the bowling alley, which is like a whole lot of fun that you get to see, especially like Homer quitting the nuclear power plant to begin with and like playing Mr. Burns' head like a bongo and then like kicking
He was
him off.
fulfilled, right? Like it was his life's dream, kind of.
It was my lifelong dream. But then he ends up working at the bowling alley, which he really loved. And then I think this is the one too where Homer pretends he's a sperm, which is one of my favorite.
I was like biting my tongue. I was like, is this the one? Is this the one?
One of my favorite
gross
visual gags in the entire series.
Homer, you didn't need to be so graphic.
Exactly. And then you just hear the entire story of like basically Maggie coming into the picture. And then at the very end, you realize that the pictures is where he needs it the most because Mr. Burns gives him the plague, which is just a plaque that says, don't forget, you're here forever. But all the pictures cover it up in a way that says, do it for her. And it just ends so beautifully. And I just love that moment. It's a perfect like Simpsons heart moment. Does anyone else have a fond memory of this episode?
I love when he's quitting. He literally burns a bridge on his way out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, like that,
definitely.
yeah.
Definitely. Taylor, any favorite moments of this one?
Honestly, I'm trying to think because
any?
I've watched a couple flashback episodes, but not this one. So I'm kind of like I remember like the Do It For Her, obviously, and like that whole story. I don't remember Bart and Lisa though, really.
Here's one of my favorite dialogue in this episode is when everyone's just like, "Hey Homer, congratulations!" He's like, "Oh well, thanks. I love my job at the bowling alley." And then Moe's like, "Hey Homer, way to get Marge pregnant." He's like, "Well, this is getting kind of weird, but thank you. I do enjoy my job at the bowling alley." And then someone, I think it's Maude, who mentions his job or something, and he's like, "The bowling alley, Marge is pregnant," and then he like rips his hair out, and then you get to see like 2 more versions of that.
I also love when he's freaking out, like when they get back from the commercials. He just like he's yelling about it, and his head just explodes. And then you cut to like, Bart, that's not what happens. Like, whatever. Like as though Bart was the one telling that part of the story.
I think of the flashback episodes, usually about Marge and Homer, I think this one is actually, and I mean sometimes about when Lisa came too, but I think of all the flashback episodes, this is a really good balance of the comedy and the heart, and I think it's like one of the best of them, I think.
Yeah. I just like Homer's idea too. He's just like, and he's trying to like learn what marketing is, and then he's like advanced marketing, and then he throws the book out, and then he has another book that says beginner's marketing, and he throws that book out, and then he has another book that says the dictionary, and it's just like stupid gags like that. And then his grand idea was to like grab a shotgun and like said, bowling here.
Shooting it into the sky.
Yeah, I think it's great. And like, yeah, it just ends so beautifully. But let's move on. Matt, what do you got?
I would also like to give one that mixes heart and humor. Season 6's episode, Lisa's Wedding.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Going forward.
Yes. It has like one of the best Homer speeches to Lisa about how she is his best accomplishment. Now she did it on her own at the very end. And also, this only happened because I listened to the horse episode, and I was thinking of the Quidgy-Bo.
Quidgy-Bo.
The fictional horses episode, you mean?
Yeah.
Where we talk about one of the nominations, if you haven't heard this episode, is the Esquilax, which I think is hilarious.
What is that?
It's the horse.
It's the horse with the head of a rabbit and the body of a rabbit.
Oh, from The Simpsons. Wiggum, right?
Yeah. This is a good one. I didn't actually rewatch this one on my rewatch here. I'm trying to remember. It's like there's like the cufflinks too with the
ham,
the pig cufflinks.
The pig cufflinks, yeah. and it's like a family heirloom, I think.
Yes. This was good. Yeah, I remember this is like one of the first times where The Simpsons went forward, and I think this is where they did it like pretty well. I think they do a lot more like flash forwards and like future Simpsons episodes.
Oh,
but
they
it
do.
it doesn't feel the same.
So this is the one where Homer builds the addition onto the house that like Hugh falls through onto the manure, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's that timeline where he's like they're eating that virtual like applesauce or something, and he's like chewing on a wire. Is that episode?
Yeah, Maggie's like a punk rock singer.
Yeah, but
she
she
still
still
doesn't
never
talk.
hear her. Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah,
no,
or
yeah.
she does talk, but you can't hear her. Yeah,
They also there's also the awesome joke of like Homer and Bart trying to give him some American hospitality by raising the British flag, but it gets into the bug zapper, so it sets fire. So then they bring it back down and stomp on the flag, and then like just cover it in manure. And then they hand it to him. He's like, "Oh, it's still warm."
Aw, poor Hugh. Yeah,
No,
this was a good.
Hugh.
Poor
Screw
Hugh.
him.
He's a good guy, wasn't he? Like he's like kind of okay.
No, he's an asshole.
No,
dude.
he wanted to Lisa to leave her family and her boorish behavior behind. Like, yeah, he wanted to never see them again.
I guess he never liked The Simpsons. He couldn't like get over that.
She was.
Oh yeah, he wanted her
She was
to
a
leave.
flower that
The
grew in a
Simpsons
pot
forever.
of dirt.
Oh,
Plus, like
right.
her story
Never
as well.
mind.
You know,
Fuck
she's
you.
always trying to distance herself from her family, but then someone tries to take her away from her family, and then she's like, "No, I'm Lisa Simpson, and I'm a Simpson, and
I
I'm
love
choosing my family." And that's
her.
very nice.
Was it not Lisa's wedding where it's confirmed that she sleeps with Milhouse?
It doesn't count.
Milhouse.
Is this where we see Milhouse like super jacked too?
No, that's much later.
No.
This is he's still broken down, but he's also like Homer's boss at the power plant, and Homer's the only one with this old job. Like you see Lenny and Carl in an office, and it's just Homer's with all the robots doing like the menial work.
The same job at Sector 7G. Taylor, what do you got?
Yeah, I am going to go with season 7, episode 25. Steph's favorite episode of all time, Summer of 4'2".
Wow.
Oh.
That's the season finale of that one.
Is that
season, right?
like, whatever?
Like, whatever. Yeah, let's... Oh, you know what? I need to look up the name of the town that she goes to. Yeah, it's the one. So Lisa tries to make a new identity for herself whenever they go. They go to vacation in the Flanders summer home in this little town. I don't know if I'm going to do it justice. Do you guys know the name of it? Like oh, here it is, Little Pwagmatskwarmsterport. It's America's
Isn't it?
crud basket.
It's like
I yeah,
right?
she's like, it's America's craw basket. And it's like, I thought Springfield was America's craw basket. No, Springfield's America's crud hole.
Is that also the episode with like the board game with like the dud or
Yeah,
something?
the
that
dud.
looks like
That's
Milhouse?
the one where like Bart does the skateboarding around to try and impress the kids, and then he's like, "So what happened, Bart? Are we in with them?" He's like, "No, they must have seen you." That's when they go to like the carnival and like the bumper cars. It's like when Homer goes into that port Quickie Mart and he like orders. He's like, "Oh, let's see, I'm gonna do a couple porno mags, box of extra large condoms, panty shield, better make it 2, some illegal fireworks, and yeah."
Yeah, that's good.
I love like
It's-
later on
yeah,
when they get when it's back at the cottage, Marge is like just going through the stuff and she's like, "Homer, I don't know what you have planned tonight, but I don't want to be a part of it."
So fucking good. But yeah, it's just the one where like Lisa gets the tie-dye clothes and tries to get in with the cool kids, and like she's trying to hide that she is a nerd. There's a
Right,
through
because
line
she has
here
the
that I like.
yearbook. She made the yearbook in that
cute.
one.
Yeah, she did
Yeah,
make the yearbook.
but nobody signed it.
Right.
She was
oh,
like,
yeah, that's a
right. That's the
It's
thing.
It's the
She's
one
the kid that
with
made.
the dud, too.
yeah, the dud.
That's
Yeah.
what you say. You got the dud. But yeah, that's the one where like Lisa thinks these kids will reject her if she finds out that if they find out that she's like a bookworm, and then at the end Bart's like, "And I showed them your yearbook again." She's like, "Bart," and he's like, "No, look," and then it's just filled with all nice messages.
Oh,
from
I
friends.
also love Bart and Lisa moments. They
Yeah.
really get me.
Yeah.
So that's when they put all the shells on the car, and then you just see Homer's silhouette. Sweet, merciful crap, my car.
I also really like the really like small gag when they get there and like Flanders has left like Post-its on everything and the fucking ice cube tray that's like filled with water or whatever. She's like, well, duh.
Yeah, she's like, it's filmy. And she's like, with what, Ned? And then she opens it with water. She's like, well,
Yeah.
I love that there's one with like on the fridge that says "put food on me," and Homer's like, "I'll take that." He just puts it on his stomach.
Bart's in the bedroom, the piggy bank, turns it over. It's like, please don't steal from me. He's like, nice try, Rod.
I think something that I wanted to mention, like maybe it's not so much this episode, but like I feel that Marge gets so much funnier the older I get. Like back in the day, I kind of like think she was like a wet blanket back in the day. You're like, oh, she's just being a mom or whatever. But she's so much funnier. I feel that way anyways. I'm not sure how you guys felt.
There's a joke in this episode specifically because like Marge is the glue, and there's a visual gag I didn't get to like the last year when I watched it. But after Homer lights the fireworks and puts it in the dishwasher and it explodes, and then he just like whistles and walks away. The next scene, Bart and Milhouse are out on the porch and they're like jealous of Lisa. But in the background, Marge is just has an angry look on her face and she's mopping the floor. And I'm like, that's such a good joke just behind the scenes, like Marge cleaning up Homer's fucking messes.
I also love in that episode when like after Lisa gets the clothes and like Marge is wondering where they should go with it. And she's like, actually, Mom, I'm going to go try and find kids of my own age. And then she just like, Marge looks at Maggie. He's like, "You're never gonna leave me."
I find myself often saying, "Marge." Every time I get like veggies from the farm, I'm like, I just think they're neat. I just love my veggies. I just think they're neat. Especially Brussels sprouts.
One of my favorite Marge lines is not from this episode, but it's basically when Marge has Milhouse's teeth. And I think that's just such a funny gag. She's like, Mom.
Why do you still have those? As a reminder.
Yeah, Sam, what do you got?
Yeah.
Final nomination here.
Yeah, I know. So this is why I wanted to go last, because I feel like there are things that just like... It actually didn't work out as well as I thought, because there's a few things that I think need to be on this list, and I can only pick one. But at least now I can be like, okay. So, it's hard, though. It's hard, because there's a few I think are getting really shafted right now. But I think if we're doing a ranked, I think we need at least one of the Treehouse of Horrors. I think it's ridiculous if that's not at least in the top. So I'm going to go, I mean, it was hard to pick one. I think I want to go Treehouse of Horror. Oh no, I had the number here written so I wouldn't fuck it up. Treehouse of Horror 5, which is season 6. That's the one with the shinning, time and punishment, and nightmare cafeteria.
Sam, this is the right suggestion.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. So, just think the Treehouse of Horrors are so fun. I think they inspired so much other TV to do things like this, where you can just have your characters doing whatever the fuck you want. And they're amazing, and I rewatch them every October, and they never get old, and it's just so fun. And I picked 5. Again, it was super hard to pick between them because there's quite a few that I really love. But I think this one has the like through line of Willie killing.
So
that's what does it for me too. That callback.
Yeah, it's fun, and also like I only just watched The Shining this past year for my first time, and I was like, wow, I know this whole movie. The Simpsons does The Shining so well that like it hits every beat. I was just like blown away by that.
No TV or no beer.
Yeah. And now that we're all quarantining, I feel like we can really relate. So I don't know. That's my. These are the chances for me to like wrap this up. It's just like for The Simpsons to be a cartoon. These are the most cartoony episodes of The Simpsons because you can do whatever. Homer can be a Jack in the Box. You can like do whatever the fuck you want and just be silly, and I love it.
It's true. And I also feel like with Simpsons episodes, like even though like I lost interest in like the future Simpsons seasons, I would often try to tune in for the Treehouse of Horror ones because that's where they kind of get to do some really cool creative stuff. The later Treehouse of Horror ones are not as good, but there are some few
they're just kind of like direct parodies now.
Those ones,
but I feel like this whole conversation is getting away from this specific episode. And Like this one has, what are the 3 segments? Is this one with like the pop-up toaster?
Yeah.
I think that's Time and
travel one?
Punishment.
That is
And then
amazing.
that one's good. And so is Nightmare Cafeteria. That's where they're eating the kids.
I love in that one where it's revealed that it was all nightmare, and what you really need to be worried about is that fog that comes in and turns you inside out.
Oh, is that this
Yeah.
episode? Oh, yeah, it's true. Yes.
And then they sing that song, like the variety show, to end it, which makes no sense, which is incredible.
so gross that they're inside out at the end, but it's funny.
Santa's little helper drags Bart away during the song.
Yeah. What's that joke they have whenever like Principal Skinner's like telling them, he's like, well, I guess you could say that we just cooked Dooter up and ate it. Wait, no, ignore that one. You know what I mean?
Oh, I love that. Yes, it's so good. Jimbo or sloppy Jimbos or something. I don't know. I forget all the food jokes. They're pretty good. And you see Oktoberfest in there. They're like eating him.
You also see like the kids that are grazing in the yard who are like running around.
The free range kids, or
yeah, that's what it is.
Oh my god. Like, last thing, like, I mean, I already said it's all us right now, but Homer freaking out in The Shining, like, the animation of him, like, going crazy is just, like, so fucking good.
His face
His faces
in
and
such
stuff,
weird
like,
ways, yeah.
I don't know. It's just so fun to watch. I just love it so much.
I also love
this is a great episode.
the through line with Willie. The very ending one, it's obvious that Willie knows he's been in all 3 shorts, because after he gets axed in the back, he's like, ugh, I'm not too good at this. Right before he falls down.
You want to get sued? Yeah, that's I would say this is probably one of my favorite Treehouse of Horrors too. But like, I think like a lot of the early ones, like especially
they're all
between, like,
really good.
They're so good. They're all so good.
I had the other one picked, and then I switched to this, so I was flip flopping a bit. And this
was it the one with like the goblin on the bus?
Yes, it was.
Nailed it. See, I know where your head's at.
Yeah. That's a good one.
I also think that I know it was very impressive for its day, but I still think 3D Homer is still like a really fun Treehouse of Horror short.
Ooh, erotic
one of my
cakes.
favorite Wiggum moments. I'm on record on Rank saying like Wiggum's like one of my favorite secondary characters, but I love how he just shoots at the portal, and when Professor Frink's like, okay, this is a regular cube or square, he's like, whoa, slow down, Pointex.
I feel like
that's really
it was hard for me because like Treehouse 4 is really good. That is the one with the gremlin, but it also has Bart's Dracula, and I just feel like we need some Mr. Burns in Treehouse shorts is like a treasure because like he gets to be the supervillain that he is, and I love it.
He's not the supervillain. Marge is the supervillain.
Well, okay.
I'm the life outside of this house, you know.
Yeah.
Well, let's take a break. We have our 12 nominations here. Plenty of episodes that weren't said that I feel like it's a crime that they weren't said.
It is a crime.
It really hurts me that some of these episodes weren't made on this list. But hey, that's how it goes in Rank. So let's take a break. We are going to get our thoughts together. And when we're back, we're going to rank top 5 Simpsons episodes.
Woo!
We'll be back.
Woo!
The Amazon commercial. Boop, 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 boop. Oh, man.
What's wrong, Tuong?
Well, it's just that I just love The Simpsons so much, and I don't want to pay Disney more money, at least on Disney Plus. I want to be able to buy my own physical copies of The Simpsons, all 31 seasons.
Well, you thought about going to Amazon to get it? On DVD?
Amazon? What are you talking about? Mom, what is he talking about?
He's talking about the internet, son.
The internet? I don't know how to use the internet, but my brother does.
It's really not that hard. Even an idiot like me can use it. All you have to do is go on to thepodcavern.com, click on the Amazon affiliate link, and then whatever you buy on Amazon, you just get the Podcavern gets a little kickback.
Really? And it costs no extra money? No extra money.
No extra money at all. It's just your friends here at the Podcavern get a little more bread in their pockets.
Bread in their pockets? That's amazing. Dad, Mom, can I please use the internet, please?
I suppose. Just don't go to Amazon. Don't do that. Go to it through the Podcavern.
Top
top five.
All right. Hey, everyone. We're back. We're back in action. We have our drinks. We have our lists. The internet connections are going smooth and well. Everything's coming up Millhouse in the pod cavern right now. And we have our 12 episodes that we are going to rank for you. Now, again, before, like I said on the break, there's definitely some episodes that are missing from this list, but we're going to cover it in honorable mentions anyway, so don't you worry. Our list as it stands right now is You Only Move Twice, Marge versus the Monorail, Homer at the Bat, Springfield, or How I Learned to Stop Worrying and Love Legalized Gambling. That's a long name. Lemon of Troy, 22 short films of Springfield, A Millhouse Divided, Lisa's Substitute, and Maggie Makes Three, Lisa's Wedding, Summer of 4'2", and Treehouse of Horror 5, which is the one with the shinning. All right. We got to star some nominations here and leave the rest in the dust. What are we guys thinking here?
I really think we should star You Only Move Twice.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right.
I would throw that in.
For sure.
Yeah.
Matt, how about you give a star?
To avoid one of my own, I will say we should star just for sake of just variety, Treehouse of Horror 5.
Wow.
I would agree.
See, before we started this episode, I was almost thinking, which we still can do one day, but like a Treehouse of Horror ranked episode where we rank like specific shorts from Treehouse of Horror.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That would be fun. That's for
But then we have to watch every Treehouse of Horror.
Well, let's be real. Did we watch every single episode of The Simpsons for this episode?
I mean, I did, guys. It took me years.
Wow. Well,
I will just say some of those wraparounds in the early Treehouse of Horrors are integral, not just the shorts.
Yeah.
Just saying.
True.
Yeah,
But
man,
Taylor,
I agree.
Taylor,
Yes.
star one out.
I'm gonna go with Marge versus the Monorail.
Good one.
All right.
Good one.
And I'm going to star Homer at the Bat.
Good one.
Now, let's just see what we got so far. We have You Only Move Twice, Marge vs. the Monorail, Homer at the Bat, and Treehouse of Horror 5. That's 4 starred already. What else are we thinking here?
I mean, I would push for the substitute. I mean, I know I'm saying my own, which is so offside. But I think a Heart and a
gauche.
season 2 episode. I know, how gauche. But a season 2 and a Heart episode, I feel like it's a classic.
I agree with Sam. I was actually going to nominate it myself, but she beat me to
There
it.
we go.
That especially has got the heart, and like between that and other like heartfelt ones like Maggie Makes Three. I mean, the Berg, that ending, it's got to be that one.
Yeah, I have a hard time with between the two. I'm not going to really fight too hard. Are we going to just fight between and Maggie Makes Three and Lisa's Substitute? Is that the fight that we're having?
It's a no fight for me.
It's a no fight because Lisa's Substitutes win. The only thing with Lisa's Substitute is that because it's season 2 and they're still finding their voice, I do agree. Like the whole Bergstrom stuff and the ending is it's phenomenal. The ending of Lisa's Substitute. But I will say, like, at least the jokey parts of The Simpsons that I like are not really present in that episode for me. So it's not one that I actually revisit very often because it's not one that like makes me laugh.
I just don't feel like it needs to be jokey. It's the heart, but also like I think early seasons when they had Brad Bird on as a director, and he directs a lot of Pixar movies and Disney stuff. He's an animator. I think he had an eye for film, and I think the shots in that one are really good, and the heart in that one's really good. So maybe the comedy's not there, but I still think technically speaking, it's like really a well done episode.
I agree. I think that the Simpsons episodes that stand out to me the most, the ones with heart, are also the ones that make me laugh. But I think it's just like a product of its like season 2 era again.
Mm-hmm.
Does anyone know like the side plot of Lisa's Substitute? Like what else happens in that episode?
Oh yeah, Bart's running for class president, and nobody goes to vote.
I'm trying to like.
Don't you remember that?
I remember that because like at the end, like Homer like talks to like I think Marge helps out with Lisa, and like Homer helps out with Bart.
Yeah.
Because Bart's feeling
He's
pretty
telling
pissed
him to
that
be
he like, didn't
popular.
win.
Oh yes, of course. Yes, okay. Yes, I do remember that. Yeah, I don't mind starring Lisa's Substitute. I personally, I think And Maggie Makes Three is better for me. Maybe because it has all those jokes that make me laugh. But obviously, I think I'm just going to venture a guess and think that Lisa's Substitute is probably one of your favorite episodes in The Simpsons ever, Sam. Like,
Maybe.
You're a Bergstrom fan, is what I'm saying.
No, I'm a Lisa fan, and I'm a Hart fan, and I'm a
Also,
season
that's kind of the point of this whole exercise is to pick your favorite ever.
Yeah,
that's true. I mean, like for me, like I wouldn't say like, and Maggie Makes 3 for me is one of my favorite Heart episodes. But if I go on pure jokes, there's like other things that I would have nominated before it.
Do you know what, Tuong? Like
And if we're
similar to
going-
Maggie Makes 3, I recently watched Lisa's First Word, which is a similar kind of flashback just before Maggie's born, so when Lisa's born. But like, I think that episode does what Maggie Makes 3 does, but better.
Oh, interesting. Just because of the ending, in that ending too, with Maggie at the end.
No, the
or?
whole episode. I just like that whole episode a little. Like, I feel like there are strong parts throughout the whole thing. Like, you know, Bart goes to Flanders and the creepy bed. So I find that and Maggie Makes 3 are very similar, and I think Lisa's First Word is a much stronger episode. So like, and then if it's Lisa's First Word, even that versus Lisa's Substitute, I'm like, I don't know. I still think Lisa's Substitute wins it, and for that reason, it's just kind of like.
All right, yeah, let's start. Let's start. What other episodes do we need to star for this?
I don't need to
like
star
Lemon of
any
Troy.
I love that episode.
Okay, yeah. Honestly, for me, a couple: Lemon of Troy, 22 short films, and A Millhouse Divided. I gotta.
Right.
Star
Okay.
them all.
Matt, how about you?
I'm pretty much actually happy with what we got starred right now.
Okay, so what I have on my list is You Only Move Twice, Lemon of Troy, Marge versus the Monorail, Homer at the Bat, Lisa Substitute, and Treehouse of Horror. I didn't star 22 short films or A Millhouse Divided. Do we want those on the list, or?
I feel like we already have over 5, so I would be fine with dropping them.
Same.
I'm gonna have a just when we go to the ranking, I'm gonna have a controversial thing. I would definitely put Lemon of Troy above You Only Move Twice, and I'm comparing those because they're both episodes of The Simpsons that take place, but mostly outside of Springfield. So I wouldn't want them both on the list. So I'm just putting that. I'm just showing all my
That's an
cards
interesting-
ahead of time because I just want to. If I could argue it real quick, I just like Lemon of Troy a little bit more because while Cypress Hill or Cypress Creek and all that is so funny, it's mostly just like The Simpsons and mostly focused on Homer, whereas Lemon of Troy it's focused on Bart, but then it's a bigger story than him. It's all about Springfield, and while it doesn't take place entirely in Springfield, you feel it. It's in Shelbyville. We've always heard about Shelbyville. They're the Eagleton to Pawnee and Parks and Rec. You know, like they're just that dirty neighbor, and then we finally get to see it. And I like how you get to see, because one of you guys mentioned earlier, it starts as the kids, and then all the parents come in later on as well. And it's just it's a much bigger. It's a more like celebratory episode to me. It's just like, here is Springfield.
Yeah.
I like that, but I think we weren't motioning to drop that one either. So like,
Yeah.
it's still part of the running.
I just brought that up because it's like that, and You Only Move Twice is like 2 episodes out of
okay.
5 take place outside of Springfield. Feels weird to me, but if you guys are cool with it, then
I'm okay
get
with
rid
both
the
of
other
those being on the list. Truly,
Okay. Never mind.
I think just because it takes place outside of Springfield doesn't really disqualify it in my mind. Yeah. Okay, so we have 6 that are starred. Is there any? I guess the gambling episode and the Summer of 4'2" are not making it either. There's no case for those ones.
I won't fight for the gambling one. I love it and think it has good stuff. I'm not gonna like try and make it in top 5 though.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Summer
So-
2 is very strong. It has heart, a lot of jokes, but I don't.
And similarly, Lisa's Wedding. Then Matt.
Yeah, I mean, I'm more strongly part of Lisa's Substitute. I just did the wedding because Sam beat me to it.
Okay, cool. So it sounds. I'm gonna go ahead and say this: that it sounds like Lisa's Substitute is a lock for this list.
Yes.
Amount of
I
talk
would
and
say so.
Okay. Is there any other locks on this list?
I would say Marge versus the Monorail.
Man, it's a really hard 6 that we're looking.
So we're only
at.
cutting 1, right?
We're only cutting
Why don't we
one.
have that discussion instead of what?
Yeah, like what gets cut?
Honestly,
Well, I was just
out of
wondering,
these,
like,
for me, it's
what
Treehouse
can
of
we?
Horror.
So
What?
yeah,
Yeah,
No.
can you say that? Can you say that again, Taylor?
I
missed
said
that.
for me, what gets cut here would be Treehouse of Horror.
Yeah, and that's for me too. The reason why I want to do the locks is to see if there's anything that we can we're all very confident about. Then the rest we can kind of battle it out to see which one doesn't make it on the list. But if there's one that my gut reaction says it's Treehouse of Horror as well.
Me too.
Really? Oh, well, I'm 3-1, so I'm not going to fight with it. I harshly disagree. I would like the listeners to know that I did not agree.
Well, Sam, I'd love to hear.
Why don't we talk about it for a second? Like, that's an amazing
Yeah.
episode. Like, yeah.
I just feel
You
like
wanna
it
talk
would be
about it,
wrong
Sam?
to not have a treehouse on this list. I think the comedy and the like craziness you could get away with them. It just feels like it should be on here. I do think it is a funny episode as well. I mean, obviously it's like riddled with parodies and stuff. I mean, honestly, it's hard because I don't know which one I would bat or like get rid of and.
Oh, that was a little Freudian slip there.
It was. Well, I was reading my list. You're right,
Okay.
but I don't know. I mean, I would also be tempted, and I mean, Lisa's substitute is my heart joy. But like, I don't know. I would almost lose it. I can't see not having Treehouse personally on a top 5, but I won't fight hard for it. That's my case.
Well, that's what
I
we
think
do
it's
here in
insane.
Ranked is we
I think
fight
it's
and we.
insane that we are getting rid of it, but
Okay, well, this is what I want to hear then. Like, I like to stir the pot always in Ranked, but is there ones other than Treehouse, Sam, that like because you said Lisa's substitute was the next one that would go for you?
But you know what? I love that too. Honestly, and I'm never gonna win on this on any of you. So again, I'm really willing to lose Treehouse here. Lemon of Troy, I would need to rewatch to understand the love.
Oh.
I get it. I feel like I'm thinking
Maybe
about
you
it. and,
finally
like,
get that The Rock meme if you rewatch.
Yeah. Okay. You're right. I just think I haven't rewatched it recently, so maybe I need to see all the. I could picture a lot of the jokes in it, but for me, I'm like. I don't know. It doesn't like need to be top 5 for me. I can't believe, and maybe Ani Mensch, but like we have no Sideshow Bob up here either. Like,
I know, but it's such a tight episode, Lemon of Troy. Like, I love like they introduce Roman numerals at the very beginning of the episode, and you
Right.
think it's just like a wash away, like whatever thing, and then they
Yeah.
bring it back in the middle of the episode with Rocky V plus Rocky 2 makes Rocky 7, Adrian's Revenge, and then he like gets
Well,
out.
they-
and it's-
Yeah. I do like that.
They also
You know
set
what?
up Frink with a rocket car, and then like later on, Bart's like, "Oh man, I wish I had that rocket bike." And then Frink drives by, and he's like, "You had your chance."
I think an excellent kid thing that happens in this episode too is how, and it's genius, really. All the boys are like getting really like serious about crossing over to Shelbyville and be like,
yes.
we've become men now. And then you see like seconds later that the girls are playing between the line between Shelbyville and Springfield like it's nothing, but the boys take it very seriously because that's what they would do. That's what little kids would do.
I mean, they touched the whole single strap versus double strap backpack debate years before 21 Jump Street did.
True.
Radical.
I think maybe this one just like played so much in syndication, and I've seen this one so much more that maybe I just am like, I don't know. I both like don't remember it, but also am jaded by it. I'm like, yeah, I know the jokes, like the Roman numerals, fine. And I don't know. Maybe I feel like that's a very personal thing though. So I don't know. I'm fine with scrapping Treehouse, I guess, for Lemon of Troy. I'll rewatch it tonight and let you know what I think later.
You should. I also feel like for me, like I don't even know if this is my favorite Treehouse of Horror. I don't know off the top of my head what would be. There's so many
It's
good
a hard
ones.
choice, I
it's
will
just
tell
so
you that.
hard for me to be like
I'm
Treehouse
not
of
sure
Horror
it's
5.
mine
Like,
either, to be honest, but it's still good.
That's the thing. It's like a top 5 list needs to have a Treehouse of Horror. It's like, absolutely. Okay, which one? Fuck.
Yeah, it's hard.
I remain that we should do a Treehouse of Horror like celebration ranked episode for next year's Halloween. I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
That way we could still give it its due, but like. Yeah, I just don't see it compared to these like other juggernauts. I can't
It's
see
so
it.
hard to like. I was saying this before I even got on this podcast, where I was afraid because I was like, it's so hard to rank Simpsons episodes because there's so many good ones, A, and B, there's like so many like one-off things that I just don't even know what episode it's from, and I'm like, oh, I love this gag, but like I don't know where it is or like how to rank it in that capacity kind of thing. I don't know if that makes sense,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah,
what
it's
episode
tough.
is it? I
No,
love
it makes
when
complete.
when Homer's a candle maker and someone's like, "What a crappy candle!" It's like one of my favorite.
That's
parts.
I Marry
don't know-
Marge.
I have no idea what episode
It's
is.
I
Is
Married
it?
Marge, yeah, because he's looking for a job
okay.
to support his new family that's coming up.
Okay, I love it. That's like one of my favorites.
I have a question for you before we continue with this. Like, do you have a go-to Simpsons thing that you always say? I'm sure you have a lot, but is there a go-to? I mean, Matt kind of alluded to with the pudding cap, but is there another like line that you just always say in casual conversation? For me, I'll say it's always everything's coming. Yeah, for me, I would say lousy smarch weather. I always say that whenever it's like any type of weather that I don't like.
You know what I would say? And it's like, I feel like a lot of people would. I feel like I kind of like grew up watching The Simpsons and it like raised me in aspects. But I think, like, I feel like that noise for I don't know is like from Bart.
Yeah.
It's so funny. You rewatch these episodes and it's like, oh, that thing that I say, and I can't think of it off the top of my head. Sorry, bad example. But like that thing that I always say, I didn't even realize that I got it from The Simpsons.
Yeah, for sure. And also, I feel like as we were kids, like they were parodying stuff that I've never seen before. And then when I finally see the thing, I'm like, oh, that's from The Simpsons, which it wasn't. It was from the opposite.
Yeah, exactly.
I think that's a really a big testament to like The Simpsons as like this cultural touchstone that's still fucking going. Now, let's do it. I think they were cutting Treehouse of Horror, right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hard one.
Okay, so to recap, we have You Only Move Twice, Lemon of Troy, Marge versus the Monorail, Homer at the Bat, and Lisa Substitute. Yeah, let's rank this bad boy here. What's number 5?
Bat. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
Substitute. My mind.
Okay. Well, I had Substitute 4, so I mean, I was close.
I think this is where we do the conversation, Lemon of Troy versus You Only Move Twice.
What? How is that the conversation?
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, to me, that's not... I don't
Honestly,
really agree with the premise of the argument for that one.
Yeah, like... Sorry, what did you guys say? Lisa's sub for 5? Or Homer at the Bat?
That's...
I
Lisa's
said
sub
that,
for me is 5.
said sub, and I said sub was 4 for me after, so I mean, both
I'm
of those...
good with that. I'm good with Homer at the Bat 5, Lisa's sub. Because, like, Homer at the Bat, I'll be honest, it is a... Like I said, it's a Tommy gun of jokes, but that's all it is.
Yeah.
Like, I'm okay. I'm happy. I'm amazed that it made it this far on the list. It's my number 1, but I'm good with that at 5.
Yeah, it's sub 4.
If you guys are okay with that, then I feel very strongly that Homer at the Bat should be higher.
Yeah, you can fight.
Me.
Sorry, I feel like I've just been speaking about it because I'm stoned, but you talk about it.
No, it's fair. Like, I think it's like, to me, I think it's definitely one of the all-time classic episodes of The Simpsons for sure, in my mind. And I revere it way more than Lisa's Substitute. Not to keep downing.
I would put Substitute on my television more times out of 10 over the other one. Isn't
and
that
I would choose
the point of this?
Many episodes before Lisa's Substitute. So
man.
that's how I feel about that episode. But like, I like the episode. It's just like, it doesn't. I like like a lot of other Simpsons episodes. This wasn't even on my honorable mentions. Lisa's Substitute.
To be honest, so it's not really on my honorable mentions either. But like, I picked this one because I love Lisa and I like the emotion. But also, I mean, it's like season 1 or 2 where Lisa gets depressed, moaning Lisa. And like, I never would have picked that to the group because it's like no jokes, but it's also like, I just love the like real moments in the early seasons that they're not afraid to hit. So I don't know, this is like an Ani Mensch thing, but it just feels like a time to talk about like Marge like supporting Lisa being depressed and stuff. So I don't know, this is like a lighter version of that in my mind. I'm like, this is the more fun, like watchable version of Lisa being super relatable. And I don't know, I just think it's like a really nice episode for a series to have.
Final thoughts on number 5 and number 4. Are we thinking Homer at the Bat 5 and Lisa Substitute 4? Like I said, I like Homer at the Bat far more than I like Lisa Substitute. I know it's Taylor's favorite episode, but I don't know. I think I need more out of Lisa Substitute. But the other thing is that it is also the one episode on our list that has that heart that I like about The Simpsons as well.
Here's the thing.
So,
I would take Substitute 5, but I would also put Bat above Lemon of Troy. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just picturing Sam as like a 1950s greaser. Yeah, I know. Fuck you.
Matt, what do you think?
Now, I think Homer at Bat should probably be closer to 1 than 5. I love the heart of Bergstrom though. That's why I was like kind of not wanting that one to be 5 either. I think we should probably consider the other three.
Okay.
That's interesting. I'm into it.
I'm into it as well, to be honest. I mean, if I was speaking honestly, I'd put Lemon 5. But
Okay,
I can
let's hear
hear that
everyone's
you're
5.
all fucking loving Lemon fanboys, whatever.
I
Lemon
think you're gonna
party.
like
Do you know
Lemon
what's
of
funny
Troy
though? This
after
is
this
exactly
episode.
like Matt, Tongue, and I are taking it so serious, like boys. And Sam's just like, no, who fucking cares? She's running with the kite in the background. Like, it's the perfect
I don't
encapsulation.
know.
She's
Yeah.
It
right.
seems like
It's-
After this podcast, we'll be men.
Yeah.
Okay, here's
I don't even know what
Marge
number
versus
4
the
is.
monorail. What are we?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I feel like I know. We're all avoiding number 1.
It's an untouchable
Yeah.
classic.
I mean, I put Monorail over Lemon as well. I don't know. I just kind of ran upstairs to top up my wine, and I like gave Brad a brief yell in the other room. I was like, "Oh my god, we're going! Lemon of Troy's up there. I don't know, we're fighting." He's like, "Ah, yes, Lemon of Troy's is an episode all the guys will like." And I was like, "Oh man, is that it? Am I just like so out of touch?" But I don't know. I just don't
No,
give a
children
fuck.
are wrong.
Like, I'm like, okay, sure, I guess. Maybe I should have rewatched it, but I don't know. It's not up there for me.
You know what? I respect passion, good or bad. I say we put it at 5 because nobody's swinging that hard. I caped for. I gave my reasoning for it being on the list earlier, but
So I would cape. Like, are you talking about like bad? Because I would passionately fight for bad. Like the one that like to me.
no.
that-
Sorry, I was talking about moving Lemon of Troy down to 5 so that we can.
Oh,
and then I'm thinking Bergstrom 4. I know it's
I agree with that.
And then like I just want to remove those from because like
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I that hurts me a little bit, but I also
it does. But here's yeah. Go on. Sorry.
I like You Only Move Twice quite a lot,
Mhm.
and I do like the monorail episode quite a lot too.
Here's
so
what Here's why I'm comfortable with putting Lemon of Troy down at 5 is because that is a Springfield episode, but we have another Springfield episode with Marge versus the monorail, and
yeah.
that for me sits at a number 2.
Yeah, I mean, I'd put Monorail at 2 too. I don't know what you're saying
You
for the
wanna
rest.
Yeah.
Okay,
Twice
let-
at 1.
Let's start
Lemon
from
can
there.
be
Lemon of-
4. I'm fine with Lisa's sub being 5. I am.
and I'm okay with Lemon of Troy making 4. I would reluctantly put it at 5 if that's what the group is thinking as well. But
No, if you're good with that at 4 and at least substitute at 5, I just want to get past 4 and 5.
yeah, Matt, what do you think?
I mean, if everybody else is Lisa's substitute 5 and Lemon of Troy 4, I guess I can go with that. But
I think we're gonna have to
like, I
agree
think
to
it's just
disagree
important to
here.
think like the heart of yeah.
Yeah, I understand. It's like for me, like I don't even know what the biggest heart moment of The Simpsons is, but like I would say that I feel bad bashing.
I
Like,
do.
don't-
It's whenever
I-
Homer sits
I-
on the hood of his car after his mother leaves, and the whole.
That's what I mean. I
play
think
out.
Mother
That is-
Simpsons, like that is the one of the most beautiful parts of this show is that one scene in Mother Simpson.
The funny thing about that is they didn't even try to put that one in for the Emmys, Mother Simpson,
Really?
because Bill and Josh so adamantly thought they'd win with Homer 3D.
Wow.
Oh yeah, well it was huge for its time, right? So
Yeah, but had they have submitted Mother, they may have won the Emmy that year.
Mother's good, but I think depressed Lisa makes me cry the most.
fair enough. So if we're okay with it, Lisa substitute 5, Lemon of Troy 4.
I mean, I
3,
think
2,
Matt
1.
and I would flip those, but we'll
Okay.
we'll take your one.
No.
You
I'm
own
a-
the
like,
podcast.
This is a democracy. Taylor, do you have a preference between 5 and 4 between those
I
two?
really don't, and if it's 2-1, I'm gonna go with them just so we can get on to 3-2-1.
We could get
Because,
on.
like, yeah, I feel like I'm happy again that everything made the lists and
Okay.
semantics. Let's get to the juicy bits.
Yeah.
Okay, the juicy bits is 3, 2, 1, and that is we have Monorail, Marge versus Monorail. Sorry, You Only Move Twice, and Homer at the Bat. I think
Woo!
the Bat would go 3
Yep.
Yeah.
at this point, right?
I agree. I don't know
Okay.
how to pick between the other two, to be honest. I have no idea.
I think I know where the other. Like, I feel like I know where Matt's mind is.
I already voiced
Oh.
my opinion.
Is it Monorail 1?
No, it was Monorail number 2.
Oh.
I'm Monorail number 1.
Okay.
I think I'm
I'm-
Monorail number 2 as well.
And I am Monorail Mono. No. I don't know how to.
Mono meeting one.
I think You Only Move Twice is, and it's crazy because it's also like one of the later quote unquote seasons of The Simpsons.
I was surprised how late it was when we were watching last night. And again, I've been going through the list and like looking at them. And I think this season, there's a weird season in between. Or this is 7? Is it 7? Correct me.
I think it's 8.
I think it's
8.
8 is
Season
super
8.
late, and it's crazy, but it's super good.
Yeah, and so for me, it's You Only Move Twice is number 1. I love Marge versus the Monorail. I think it's a fantastic episode, but You Only Move Twice is, if you had like a desert island Simpsons episode just to throw on a bunch of times, like this episode would be so fun to watch over and over again. Like I've come back to this episode many times, and I'm never bored of watching this one.
True. Yeah, I like it.
I mean, yeah, same thing for Marge versus the Monorail, but I don't know. It's funny because earlier I was saying that, I would put Lemon of Troy over this one, but I could kind of see the way the room was going, so that's why I went for it low. But like this one doesn't take place in Springfield, and yet it does still. This is pointed to as one of the best episodes of The Simpsons.
I mean,
whereas the other one is very like Springfield centric. Yeah, I don't know.
This one shows the family, though. Like, I mean,
exactly.
It's not
There's something about the fact that it's not in Springfield and it's still such a strong episode, I think, is why it should edge out.
I mean, right now we're just arguing between Schwartzwalder and like Conan O'Brien, so both are like really amazing writers.
Literally, one of them is the best writer, the most prolific, and the other one is the most consistent with 4 episodes.
Well,
and they're all 100.
And also the Conan of like everything else Conan's done.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're not in Auntie Mensch yet, but like nobody said Last Exit to Springfield.
Okay, I know. I thought someone
fucking insane. Yeah. So
when I say someone else, I thought it was you.
We all need braces after that.
I fucking am so mad, but it's fine.
That one's a very controversial episode. If it's the one I'm thinking.
Lisa needs braces.
Lisa needs braces.
Oh yeah, no, never mind. I was thinking of the one with Jay Sherman in it.
We are not at honorable mentions.
Oh. I'm sorry, but it's bothering me that we're not talking about it.
A Star Is Burns. Was the
I love A Star Is Burns.
Okay.
That one is controversial because Matt Groening didn't want that one to happen.
Okay. I'm going to back up for a second.
Sorry.
We have 5 Lisa substitute. That's what I have so far, but we can flip if you guys...
I thought we did flip it.
Oh, yeah.
I thought we didn't.
I don't care. Okay. Yeah, flip it. Lemon and Troy, number 5.
Okay. And Taylor, we have to care. That's our job here on Ranked. We care about meaningless lists.
That's
number
true.
5, we have Lemon of Troy. Number 4, Lisa Substitute. Number 3, Homer at the Bat. And what I have so far is number 2, Marge versus the Monorail. And number 1, You Only Move Twice.
Yeah.
Fight me on this.
I will not.
I feel very strongly about You Only Move Twice.
I feel like I'm the only one fighting, so I'm just going to...
You can make your
my
case.
Stomach and show you my belly.
Make your case.
If you need to make your case, go ahead, Matt. I'm listening, but
like I said,
Hank Scorpio.
The song is probably one of the best songs ever in the show. It's just a fucking great scene. Like it's just a great fucking character for Phil Hartman to play as well. And just all the quotes, like I call the big one Bitey, or Batman's a scientist.
I knew I shouldn't have stopped for that haircut.
I think like both of these episodes that we're talking about are extremely quotable, right? Like both of them have that.
You look at the top 3 in our list, no matter the ranking, and they're all like jokes. Like clearly that's what we all gravitate to.
Yeah. Maybe it collapsed on its own. I love that joke. And You Only Move Twice. I want to take a chance.
Wait, doesn't Marge vs. Monorail, is that the one that ends with like the popsicle stick skyscraper and the escalator and the giant magnet?
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Yeah. It also does this weird thing where Nimoy like beams like out of the episode, like after he says, my work here is done.
It's good.
That is funny.
I'm still with You Only Move Twice at 1 though. I think it just there's something about it. I don't know.
Like I said, I think the caliber of the joke, the subtlety mixed with the over-the-topness is like really well done.
I think like showing the contrast between like Cypress Creek and Springfield, like they do such a good job with it too. Even when Bart is in the school, in his grade, like they have a bunch of and they have a bunch of characters that are like the Springfield characters, like that Milhouse who's like, I'm waiting for a best friend that can like boss me around. Like I think or like the spoof Jimbo character. Like they're all kind of there. And we talked about it's not really Springfield, but it kind of is. Like it's just like a kind of a different version of what Springfield maybe could be. And we also get like a really fun moment with a bunch of the characters in Springfield when they all say goodbye to the Simpsons too.
I think we get a good Homer too, and this reoccurs like throughout the few seasons there with his like lifelong dreams. I'm always like confusing which episode of which is like, but my lifelong dream, and I feel like this is like one of them, but then he has more later on. So I'm always
Was this one the Gong Show one or?
Well, no, this lifelong dream was the football field, but then he has other ones.
Broncos. I think the Denver Broncos is pretty good.
Yeah.
You just don't understand football, Marge.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
A lot of these, Homer, he's so good.
He's so dumb in this one. I like when Scorpio 2 on his way out, he's like, if you wouldn't mind killing someone on your way out. Like, and Homer's just like, doesn't think twice about anything that's fucking going around.
Iconic still, like just image in this episode is just Hank Scorpio with the flamethrower and just laughing. I think this episode's fantastic. Matt, do you have anything else that you want to rebuttal with?
This was in my like top 3. I was gonna like nominate it too, but Taylor beat me to it. So
it was Tuong.
So Tuong was right out the gates with it.
Oh yeah,
right
sorry.
out the gate. Scorpio. All right. So one more time. Number 5, Lemon of Troy. Number 4, Lisa Substitute. Number 3, Homer at the bat.
I thought
number
we
2,
switched
Marge.
those, but it's fine.
We did.
Number 5, Lisa Substitute. Number 4, Lemon of Troy. Number 3, Homer at the bat. Number 2, Marge versus the monorail. And number 1, you only move twice. There we go. We did it.
Weren't 4 and 5 flipped?
Yeah. You
Well,
were gonna flip them, and then you just said yes, and then didn't flip them. But it's fine.
Lisa Substitute. Oh, yeah. Sorry. You're right. Fuck. Well, you know what I mean. Lemon of Troy is number 5. And number 4 is Lisa Substitute. Man, I can't believe how much like conversation we had with just those 2 episodes along. But here we are. We are at honorable mentions. Now, I have a ton of honorable mentions, but I think to cap this so we don't like go on forever, and before we have the next technical hiccup, let's just say everybody gets we'll just rapid fire around this around, and we'll do 5 each. I think that's plenty.
Sure.
Yeah,
Sound good?
That sounds fair.
Okay, here we go. Mine would be Mr. Plow.
Nice.
The Way We Was.
Is that a flashback episode?
Yeah, it's the first
Yeah,
one
it
where Homer and Marge meet.
Oh, with Artie.
Yeah.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, nice.
Taylor?
Oh, you know what? I like A Star Is Burns, the film festival episode. Controversial, I know, but yeah.
Nice.
Boo-urns.
I love it. No.
Sam?
King size Homer.
So good. Homer goes to college.
Ooh, nice. That's another Conan episode.
Yeah.
So funny. So funny.
Itchy and Scratchy Land. Another later season.
Wait, I was skipped there.
Isn't it? What?
Oh, right. Matt.
Camp Krusty.
But Itchy and Scratchy Land State. Yeah, Camp Cressy. There you go. And then Itchy and Scratchy Land. That one was definitely one of my top contenders too. I think that's an episode where like all the Simpsons family, like the family gets together and teams up in a really fun way, I think.
Yeah, so good.
This is another one that I always quote is like, remember, we're in the itchy lot.
Yeah.
I think that's hilarious. Sam, what do you got?
Where nothing could possibly go wrong. Possibly. That's the first thing that's ever gone wrong.
PTA disbands.
Ooh.
PTA is expanding.
This was my dark horse that might have made on the list. It's the Springfield Connection. It's where Marge becomes a cop.
Ooh.
Oh.
Has the best Wiggum moments in the series, as well as Marge is fantastic in this episode too.
We talked a bit about the direction that was brought in by Brad Bird, so I'm going to say his first episode, which was Krusty Gets Busted.
Nice.
Nice.
I had that on VHS back in the day. Yeah. I'm going to, because nobody's actually said it yet. Last exit to Springfield, guys.
Oh my god! Yeah.
We kind of need to. Like,
oh my god!
I think we all were
my
waiting for the other
God.
person to nominate it, and like this is
I'm
one.
so upset. I'm so upset.
Yeah, that's crazy to me.
But
Oh,
that
go ahead.
episode is like widely seen as like the best in the series. Yeah,
Yeah, it is. It's like known
Considered?
as number one.
yeah. I feel
Is
like
it
that's why
known as
nobody
number
picked
one?
it.
That is-
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I'm gonna go with Cape Fear.
Nice.
Oh my god, that is my favorite Sideshow Bob
Right?
episode. So funny. That's the one with the rakes. In,
Yeah.
in case anyone doesn't know. and Sideshow Bob just singing the entire night. It's
Yeah.
just so fun.
Homer's like, who wants a shortcut through the cactus patch? Yay! No.
We have 2 more each here, and my next one is Lisa on Ice. I think this
Good.
episode is so good.
I'm going to go with a clip show, and I would say this is the best one. The 138th episode Spectacular, which is the one hosted by Troy McClure.
Yes.
With Wiggum's like
No,
detective
this is the one where it's
new
like it's full on clips. They go back to like they show the old Tracy Ullman shorts. They like do a clip of like Matt Groening, who's like that Texan like one-eyed guy that he uses as a character, and he's like, it's this gag like, get out of my office, and he shoots the camera.
Yeah, that's a good one. With Taylor?
Honestly, not off the top of my. I didn't write any down, so
So
Okay, Sam.
I was gonna say Selma's Choice. That's the one where they do go to the Disneyland or whatever.
I am the Lizard Queen.
Lizard Queen.
Yo, that song, the Duff Beer for Me, that
Beer
shit is
for
such an
me.
earworm. It will get stuck in your head.
Yeah, that
It's
one's
gonna be in my head when I
We
sleep.
did a really
Yeah.
big diorama. I used to go to like very frequent Simpson trivia nights, and they had a diorama contest, and we made a huge one for this episode.
Nice.
Yeah.
one more each, except for Taylor. You could technically have 2 if you have any kicking around here. Although I think you did say Mother Simpson earlier in the episode, so maybe that counts as one. If that counts, I don't know. But the last one for me is Homer's enemy, Frank Grimes.
Grimy.
Nice.
Grimy.
I'm gonna go with
Frank Grimy Grimes.
Again, there's just too many.
Uh,
Go, Matt.
so I'm gonna go with
Matt.
a later season one, season 27. Yeah,
Whoa.
because like I said, I've been
Lord.
still watching them. This one is called Barthood. It's a parody of Boyhood, but it's like a really good like exploration of like Homer and Bart's relationship from like Bart at age like 3 to like 22.
Oh, I did see this one. This one was good. Like
Yeah, it's not
pretty
as
good,
like
I would
laugh
say.
out loud as the earlier stuff, but it's got like the heart.
I thought of one.
Yeah.
Hurricane Nettie.
Ooh.
Oh.
I fucking love that episode.
Oh, good Ned Flanders episode. And Sam, bring it home.
Yeah.
Last one.
So I had one in mind that I was like kind of gonna say, but now I'm thinking a streetcar named Marge. I think season
Nice.
4. Season 4 is really fucking solid, and we didn't say enough from it. So season
Yeah.
4, yeah, season 4 is so good all around. We didn't say any. Oh my god, I'm upset.
You didn't say what?
We didn't put in any of Oh no, Monorail season 4, right?
Yep, Monorail
season
season
4. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, like,
good. I
yeah,
think-
Monorail season 4.
Okay.
That's kind of
I
the
feel
Al
better.
Mike Rice era. It's kind of the golden
Yes.
era of Simpsons.
Season 4 is like
4.
all good.
For me, I always go back to season 5 and 6. I find they're very easy to watch. Anywhere between 5 and 7, I feel like it's just like throwing any episode. Season 4 is very good though.
I think.
Oh my
Tom
god,
Cruise
I'm looking at
specifically, I
that
would
list and
say
it's
like 3 and
insane.
4.
I think season
Well,
4
did we
might be
do
my
it?
favorite. I wanted
Wow.
to say Krusty gets canceled too, and you're a little like Marge.
There's also
oh,
like
man.
Homer the
4
Heretic
is
in
a heavy
that,
hitter.
and Lisa the Beauty Queen.
I love Lisa, Last Exit to Springfield, Duffless, Selma's Choice.
Guys,
Oh
there's so
God.
many episodes that we didn't say.
Guys,
Like
go home and watch season 4.
go watch The Simpsons.
Go home.
By this time, COVID's over. No. By this time, like the 4x3 versions of The Simpsons is on Disney
It's on
Plus,
Disney
which is
right now.
very
Go
exciting. Yeah, go check it out. I think that like I've been watching it without the 4x3, and of course, like some of the visual gags are lost, but like it's still The Simpsons, so it's still funny.
Honestly, I haven't really gone in that much. I'm waiting, or have been waiting. It's out in 2 days for in real time, but when
It's
you're
really
listening to this,
fucking weird watching it the not right
widescreen.
way.
It's not nice.
Yeah.
Well, I think when you have like the Simpsons fervor that this crew has, then in a way, like you already can fill in those blanks. But you're right. Like it is much better if you can go back.
In my
and see
head,
all
I've been waiting so long, and I could wait a little bit longer. And I'm just gonna. It's just gonna be on constantly now with the 4:3 ratio.
Just visually better that way too. Like jokes aside, even if you're missing jokes, it just looks better. Overall,
Nobody's jaw is cropped for no reason.
Yeah,
I had to. There's some weird stuff for
It
sure. But
hurts me.
I have to mention that I was reading the synopsis of a couple episodes in season 30, and one of the episodes in season 30 is Marge gets a job and is very successful at it. And then the last episode of that season is Marge gets a job and is very successful at this. And I'm like, you have 2 episodes this season that has to do with Marge getting a job and being very good at it. And it's like, they really ran out of stuff
and
to
almost becoming a lesbian. I feel like that's a common. That's the only new episode I've watched. She becomes a lumberjack and starts hanging out with a lady, and Homer's like, "Uh-oh, Marge is going to be a lesbian." And I was like, "Is this really what The Simpsons is?"
I forget if it was you, Sam, or Taylor, or maybe Matt who sent this to me, but maybe I'll link this in the show notes, but it's about how Homer is like a completely different character from the early seasons. Homer? Yeah, there's the jerk-ass Homer to like the lovable doof that we like as Homer, right? So definitely worth watching. But anyways, we did it. Let's get out of here before this episode just crumbles due to technical issues. But honestly, I wouldn't have done this episode any other way with any other people. So thank you. Thank you, Matt, for being on the podcast.
Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Of course. We'd love to have you back, hopefully with a new computer next time. But hey.
I feel now that I've taken out the VPN, like the VPN thing.
Yeah.
On my end, it was fine.
Maybe you can get better internet or like interneting of your swim trunks one day. Little Simpsons reference there on a Simpsons episode. Matt, do you have anything?
Not the time or place, Tuong.
Yeah, we're done with that. Just check out if you want to see me do stuff, check out Shit Hot Shit Show or It's All Super on Facebook.
Taylor, what do you got? Anything you want to plug? Any shows you're watching? Anything at all?
No, just be safe. Wash your dirty little hands, everybody.
No shows to recommend. You usually have something hot that you watch.
If you guys don't watch Insecure, check it out. It's amazing. Issa Rae, really good. HBO. Yeah, that's what we're watching.
That show.
No? Oh man, check it out. 4 seasons. Fantastic. It's she's from California. The show's just set there, and it's just like it's really good. She just does a really good job, like showing her neighborhoods and stuff growing up, and it's fantastic. Lots of laughs, lots of heartbreak.
All right, well, love it, Sam.
I don't really have anything. All the shows I'm working on are for children who should definitely not be listening to this. So, I mean, again, you can follow me on Instagram. I haven't been doing much. I'm so busy, but I hope to have some animation stuff coming your way soon. So, some animation, animation.
Sam, I hear you're one of the hosts of Pod Cavern's latest show.
Oh my god, how could I forget? You're right. You know what? Pause, back up. Okay, folks, I have the hottest thing for you all. Now, pause. Everybody, take a breather. Grab a glass of wine. Here you go. Disney Dummies. It's the newest, hottest thing that everyone's listening to because we're all nostalgic about Disney. Follow us. We're going to take you back to Snow White and move forward and talk about all that hot shit. So check it out, Disney Dummies. Disney Dummies. Find it on Pod Cavern.
You guys should check out my rival podcast with Matt. It's called DreamWorks Jerks. We're going back through the catalog and just kind of talking about a far superior line of movies.
Wow,
who needs Snow White when you get Shrek the Third?
Hell yeah.
What about Shrek the Halls?
Oh,
theatrical releases only.
Yeah.
Monsters vs. aliens all day.
Well,
I like
that's
that
it
one.
for us. Oh, you like that one? Oh man, that's a different podcast altogether.
Right, yeah,
Top 5 DreamWorks movies. But hey, let's get out of here. That's it for all of us here. For me, you can find the rest of the shows in the Pod Cavern at www.podcavern.com. Check out all the shows that are happening and stay tuned. We have a lot of exciting things happening in the Pod Cavern. I'm teaching a podcasting course in the Pod Cavern. That's pretty cool. So check that out. That's in partnership with the Making Box. So we'll see you next time on another episode of Rank Top 5 List of Stuff That Don't Matter. Let's watch more Simpsons, shall we?
Yeah. Write us. Tell us how wrong we were.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye.